There are some truths about getting older, but there are also some fake facts. In his presentation tonight, Jim will explore one of the most prevalent false truths about getting older. Please help me welcome Advanced Toastmaster Gold, Jim Barber.
Yay!
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Toastmaster, my fellow Toastmasters, our most welcome guest this evening. Back when COVID caused such a problem, and everybody was concerned about those people that were most at risk, I discovered something that I didn't really know before that. I'm elderly. I wasn't aware of that, but the government said, absolutely, you are elderly, so okay, have to deal with that. I've discovered also that there are a number of truths associated with being chronologically challenged. One of them is that, as Phyllis just indicated, old people have trouble with their memories. And I'll admit, I don't remember things as well as I used to. And older people have trouble hearing sometimes. And I'll admit, sometimes I have to ask people, what did you say? But there's one truth about getting older that I want to dispute tonight. And that is that older people are not good with technology. I beg to differ. Now, I'll admit, I am not particularly good at the various social media apps. I've seen Slack. I'm not quite sure what it is or what it would be used for. I can muddle my way through WhatsApp, but I'm not really skilled at it. There are many capabilities of my smartphone that I don't really know how to use. I'm not concerned about those. But I am good at technology. I'll prove it. A number of years ago, I wrote a number of apps. So we didn't call them apps then. We called them programs or applications or something like that. But they were apps. And I wrote an app, a rather sophisticated app, in binary. Now, in binary means that you sit in front of the computer facing a dozen or so switches, and you toggle the switches up and down, press enter, toggle the switches again, up and down, press enter. You do that I think it was about 450 times to get the app into the computer. And if you missed one of the switches, clear, start over again. So you have to be very careful. And of course, it has to be right, because debugging means you try it, it doesn't work, clear, start over again. Programming in binary is not easy. Fortunately, I'll admit, I did not do a lot of programming in binary. Most of my programming was in various programming languages. The last time I bothered to count a long while ago, I was programming. I had programmed in over 35 different computer languages. Most of them are assembly language. Now, if you're not familiar with assembly language, it's like binary, but it's easier because you use letters and numbers rather than actually toggling switches. So it's a little bit easier, but you're faced now with assembly language with getting the information into the computer because you're not using switches anymore. No, we've gotten more sophisticated. We had worked our way up by this point to using paper tape. Paper tape is exactly what you would expect, is about an inch wide tape with holes punched in it instead of toggling switches. The app now, one particular app that I wrote, was 500 feet of paper tape. It would stretch basically from here to the road out there, over to actually to the basketball courts. And of course, if there's anything wrong, any one hole that isn't punched right, crumple it up, throw it away, start over again. You're not always faced with paper tape, though. We eventually got up to cards. And I remember at one point I had 4 boxes, and I think it was 1,000 cards per box. So that's 4,000 cards making up the app. And of course, if you ever drop that sucker, they've got to be in exactly the right order. You've got a real problem. So these were always challenges in how that you are doing it. But they're not the extent of the challenges. We had offline storage. Now, you're not concerned about offline storage. You just pull out a zip drive or something like that, piece of cake. Hey, try to do offline storage on an 8-track tape. That is challenging. I've done offline storage on cassette tapes. Now, these were all when I was working in corporate. When I went off to form my own business, I got my own computer. Now, you're not impressed with having your own computer. You carry your computer around with you. You fuss at it. You cuss at it. My computer, my first computer that I spent almost $10,000 on, was a Radio Shack Trash 80 Model 2. It had 64K of memory. This was amazing. I could do wonders with that. And it had offline storage. Now, they hadn't invented hard drives yet, not for the general public. And so I daisy-chained 3 8-inch floppies, each one of which held 250K of memory. I had 3/4 of a meg in offline storage. I was in heaven. I had never had this much computing power before. I could go on, but my point is, am I good with technology? You're darn right I am. Until you have programmed in binary, until you have used an 8-track tape player as for offline storage, until you've done these different things, you don't really know what technology is about. Today's technology is easy compared to the technology of a few years ago. I am not good, I'll admit, with today's technology. I've got other things to worry about. I'm tired of learning the latest and greatest. But am I good with technology? You darn tootin' I am. That's it. End of truth. Madam Toastmaster.